Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 803. It's the final podcast of 2024. Because next Wednesday, Christmas Day, and then the Wednesday after that is the 1st. We're still probably going to podcast, but that is technically 2025. So this is our year in review.
Not technically. It is.
It is.
2025.
It's
indisputably.
It's sort of a year in review, but we didn't plan it that way. It's just a normal show. But you know, you can provide your thoughts about the year in review in our comments section, or we could just, you know, go off the rails as we usually do and discuss stuff. We're in the intro. It's the intro. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
No, I'm Josh Walrath.
I meant to have Christmas lights. I'm Brett Van Sprinberg.
And I'm Kent Burgess. And Sebastian is technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
The best kind of correct, yes. Kent, real quick, grab your LED controller. We've got to get festive in here. Red, where's red? Come on,
I know.
Work. That's turning it off. It's not good.
All right. I'm going to get a Christmas tree.
There we go. There's red. I need green.
During intermission today, I'm going to go get Christmas lights during the intermission. I don't know if anybody realizes this, but we do take an intermission during the show.
We don't normally.
It's a quick 15-minute break. Okay, we've never done that, actually.
We've got
we're
some
also
red and
usually
green.
very prepared at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
We
working
were
so well.
never Boy Scouts.
No, this is...
No, it was a Sea Scout.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
We've got some red and green.
It's out of the shot. It's out of the shot.
Where is it, Josh? Hold on. Let me move it.
Josh,
It's
camera
not
one.
turning on, is it?
we don't know what he's
Dead,
doing.
Jim.
What is
We're going to get the
this?
MSI Christmas tree to live.
Oh, it's the Christmas tree, the MSI Christmas tree.
Has my tree
It's
finally
dead,
died?
Jim.
It looks like it has.
No.
The lights aren't showing up.
Oh, I see blue lights.
How many?
There are 4. Let's.
No, it's dead, Jim.
It's toast.
Oh, that
It's passed
is
away.
an
It's just an ex-Christmas tree.
It's an Christmas tree. This is
the
an
daisies.
Christmas tree.
Climbed up the curtain.
It has ceased to be.
Wait.
Wait. Hey, we are recording.
Christmas tree wouldn't go boom if you put 4 million volts through it.
This is the year in
It's
review
back.
portion of the podcast. This was the year in review.
Was.
This was
Thanks
our
for
year.
joining us.
2024.
Kill a buzz, why don't you?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We want to
As we
thank.
were.
We want to thank our patrons who helped us get through 2024. And you could put your name in lights. Put it right here. This is art, okay? And if you want this art to continue, you have to become a patron. That's how starving artists survive, is they have patrons who throw money at them so they can live their frivolous artistic lives, as we do.
On the
And
other
this
hand,
is
if you want
But not
to stop-
change. Change
You could throw
hurts
us-
when it hits us.
But if you
please
want us
don't-
to stop doing
don't
this,
throw
throw
big change.
whole bunches of money at us every
we're
week.
threatened by change.
Pay us not to do this.
Threaten
We'll
to buy
take-
change.
It hurts. It hurts our feelings.
Change is unexpected. I mean, unless it's a vending machine, then you might expect change.
Josh, speaking
Me.
of change, did you do something different for lunch today?
Yeah, I ordered a cheeseburger. What was that show? The Menu? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, the
Last
gal with the
longer
really
than
wide
2 days.
eyes. I ordered a regular double cheeseburger with cheddar instead of American, with little lettuce, pickles, onions, and tomatoes, ketchup and mustard. And I ate it.
Tater tots? Are those tater tots? What are those?
Those are tater tots. I got tater tots instead of fries.
Interesting.
So I may need to talk to the proprietor because their stuff's been kind of going downhill, which makes me sad. This was not a great cheeseburger. The tater tots, while nicely done, were way over seasoned. First couple I had, not too salty, but then I started getting more into there, and they became super salty. At least they're cooked well. The pickles, those were tasty. I mean, they were good, thick, full-bodied pickles. Tomatoes were nice. The onions were not as aromatic as I was kind of hoping, and they didn't trim the lettuce very well, so you can't see the double patties and the cheese very well under there. So, it tasted a little stranger than because one of my favorite cheeseburgers is the Wendy's double. It just is consistent. It's consistently good, consistently cooked. This was just not quite up there. So, maybe we can go back on that rising tide and have a better experience. But for now, it was good, but it was not as good as I was hoping. I'm a little disappointed.
It happens.
Yeah. Maybe too much lettuce. I don't know.
Looked like a garden on top of that burger, I must say.
A little bit. I mean, the lettuce was pretty flush with water, and so when you'd bite down, it really affected the texture of the meat and the buns. So I don't know.
Let us quickly move through the news. It's the PCPer news desk. Top story: Robert Halleck has updated the Intel community with a blog post about the Intel Core Ultra 200S series performance status. Was that a meaningful cough?
Yeah, that was the entire
that
update. That's what the update was.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, the Arrow Lake S performance is not up to anyone's expectations, their hopes and dreams for this new Intel platform, which fell pretty flat compared to the 9800X3D.
I mean,
but don't
they did
worry.
admit to 5 points of falling.
But look at those.
Short.
The word solved is on 4 of them now.
Oh, okay.
New customer BIOSes in the field, new update to Windows 11. You have to be on a specific build. They want you to be on 26100.2161 or newer for some of the APO and other scheduling issues to be addressed.
It doesn't constantly crash like it did when you were trying to game previously, and it is mildly better.
I think the constant crashing was due to, as they say, they root caused that to the easy anti-cheat service that's integrated with many games, unfortunately. That's what was sending out the blue screens on that one.
Is it blue screening on AMD systems, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oddly enough.
There's a final update coming. It's going to have the Intel microcode 0x114 we talked about last week, and an Intel CSME firmware kit, and then a long version number. And then, of course, that version, that build of Windows 11 that I mentioned a minute ago, or newer. So it's one of these things where if you want to be on Arrow Lake S, you have to be at the cutting edge of BIOS, drivers, and Windows builds. And then maybe it'll perform better and be more stable.
Which brings me to the flip side of this. We are rolling out Core Ultras at work.
Ooh, okay.
I read this news and
rolling them out the door
a little bit. Because wait a second, we're going to get random firmware updates and microcode updates from Windows Update we don't know about.
Oh,
And
your
so
users can apply that.
Your
users will be fine.
Don't worry about it. So if you bought a Core Ultra for gaming, you weren't paying attention. So for these updates, because they were specifically designed for, that stupid AI work that everyone thinks is important, but also productivity. Office likes these things. So pushing out a bunch of these updates all of a sudden saying, hey, stay on the bleeding edge, make sure everything's all up to date. Like, thought these were supposed to be business-focused machines. What the hell do you think you're doing? Miss Pat. Pat wouldn't have done that already.
You missed Pat already.
All right. Well, enough about Intel. Let's talk about Intel. Intel
Yeah.
Arc B580. We mentioned it last week, but the review embargo wasn't up until, of course, the morning afterwards. So let's just go to Tech Power Up, where they have these summary pages, the average gaming frame rate page from their excellent value review.
Is it better or worse than the red dotted line?
Yes. So the average of all games they tested at 1080 is 83 frames per second. Now, where does that put it on their impressively long chart of GPUs? It puts it ahead of a 7600 XT, but below,
Which is about 320,
but below a 3060 Ti,
which is more.
which is old and no longer made.
Yeah.
And above a 4060.
Especially when you get up to 1440, where it averages 61 frames per second.
And
sits-
becomes a little more predictable. Yeah.
Yep. It's a little bit, yeah, it's faster again than a 4060. It's faster than the old A770. It's faster than the 7600 XT. But again, it's not up to 4060 Ti level. It's not up to a 6700 XT. It's not faster than a 3060
But you still
Ti.
haven't seen it with its final driver.
That's true.
Because if it follows the previous generation, all of a sudden that chart's going to even out, and it's going to even out somewhere around, well, maybe not 36 frames a second, but you know,
Yeah.
a little
Well,
bit higher.
if you're gaming at ultra,
Yeah, that's
HD.
fair. It's 1440 or 1080p.
4K, no. It's 36 frames per second average in 4K. Don't do it. But yeah, 60 plus frames per second if you're on 1440,
Yeah.
and it's good for 82 on average at 1080. So that's fine. For
I was just pricing
$249.
some blower model 2080 Ti's on eBay. You're in the 250 to 290 range.
Yeah. Well, don't price a B580 right now.
I know.
We bid up.
I could make it my pick of the week, except it's $419 and up on Newegg now.
Yeah. And not only that, but Mind Factory over in Germany, they released their weekly, and they actually give you numbers on how many they sold. And they sold total of 90 and sold out. So one of the larger distributors in Europe only got 90 of them. Newegg did not get very many. Amazon did not get very many. They sold out damn near instantly. I've got one on pre-order from ASRock. Have no idea when that's going to be showing up. They're refreshing and restocking apparently every week, but we don't know how many they actually shipped. But it's not very many. Regardless, it's been universally very positive release. Other than the numbers that they've released, it is kind of a paper launch. But we'll see how they do. But in terms of features, performance, it's got 12 gigs at a $250 range, which is the best value for memory other than the A770, which it is mostly faster than. I don't know how many how much improvement you're going to see with drivers. Because one, Intel's been at this for the last 2 years and doing a really good job with their driver group. Two, the real-time compiler and data formats that they're using for a lot of Vulkan and DirectX 12 stuff. Their hardware is a lot more optimized for that. And so I don't know if we're going to see massive improvements. We're going to see, 5 to 10% across the entire, range. But it's not going to be the night and day thing that we had with Arc when day one versus 1 year, which, was night and day in terms of quality, performance, all that stuff. But it's a largest die for that market. It's made on TSMC 5N or N5, can't remember which one. And so it's up to date as compared to the A770, which was a node behind in many ways. So, yeah, it was a nice launch for Intel in terms of PR. And, they've recreated a lot of interest in the sub 300 level with this card. And there are people who, actually got cards delivered to them. Wasn't me. Even though I pre-ordered.
You tried.
Hot
Yeah.
take in the YouTube
I mean,
chat
Tap
channel
likes
is-
me, but he doesn't
is-
like me that much.
Intel's making these at a loss, so they're not encouraged to make.
Well, I don't know if they're making it a loss, but their margins are thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a loss,
Wafer
but it is
thin.
thin.
Wafa thin?
Just one.
It's a large wafer, but still.
But on the
Just one
positive
more.
side of this, when was the last time that we got a $250 graphics card that people were actually excited about?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
A long, lonely time.
Hmm.
And I mean, if you think about a $250 card back in 1998, I mean that's essentially a $500, $600 card right now.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
And you're
adjusting for
talking-
inflation, 249 is even more impressive.
Yeah,
How much
it really is.
How
Yeah.
much is my 4200 Ti worth today? Is it
$2.49.
What was that? It was what, a $269 card at the time.
Yeah, see? That's what I paid for it. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
So it's a bit of an upgrade, the new Intel over this.
it's just a small amount.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's more RAM. I mean, you can say that.
Oh,
True.
they even put RAM on the back.
Yeah.
There was RAM on the front and RAM on the back then.
They
Come on, the
doubled it.
4200 Ti was the budget enthusiast
Yeah.
card for
It
those who
was.
couldn't do the 4600 and 4800.
Are you talking down to me now?
No,
Yeah.
not at
Well,
all.
it's not, yeah, it's
4200 was
not
a great
as,
card.
as coveted as the 4600, but
You
it's
could
also-
overclock these. You
Was
could
this,
get in the
of course.
4600 range.
Oh, you could.
Overclocking on these. And I did.
Don't make me pull down my 4800 with custom cooling.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've got
We don't
one
have
or
that kind
not.
of time.
On the subject of GPUs, NVIDIA allegedly will be using 8 gigabytes with the 5060, just as they did with the 4060. So people are crying. It's a disaster. It's DOA.
It'll be poorly received.
Of course.
8
I mean,
gig
it's going
just
to be
isn't
it's going to be
enough.
shat upon by all of the typical
Glitchy RT.
reviewers. It is what it is. I mean, NVIDIA makes so much money and sells so many of these graphics cards that apparently they can just continue to sell an 8 gigabyte card in
can.
current year.
I mean,
It'll
this
be-
article attempts to, go back 5 minutes ago and beat up people with the ARC B580 and say, look, 12 gig, it's doable at this price or lower. You should be doing this, NVIDIA.
There's a sucker systems builder born every minute. And that's
Mark
where they'll end up.
Chambers says it'll be poorly received and they'll sell a ton of them. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Just like with the 4060. The 3060 years ago, 4+ years ago, I think is when the 3060 came out, 12 gigs.
Yep.
And
That was
here
a
we are.
shockingly good lower and mid range card. A lot of people still have those.
Yeah.
Hope they're not still using them.
3060 is, if I recall it, didn't it just take over the Steam survey top spot?
I think we were looking
Recently.
at that, and I think there was some 3060 high movement.
I think the last time we looked at the Steam hardware survey, the 4060 was creeping up, which is like, why? I guess because currently made and cheaper
Yeah, probably.
than the 4060 Ti. NVIDIA was in a tough position when the 3060 came out because there was, I guess, more competition then. It was a bandwidth thing. If you released it the way that they wanted to with the memory interface that they had, you could either have 6 gigs or you had to double it to 12. So I'm sure they would have preferred
And make sure
to
all
release
12
it
gigs is real,
at
not
8.
a little bit of it being
Right.
fake.
Partitioning and stuff. So they didn't have the way they cut down the chip. They couldn't do 8, so they could do 6, or they could double it and do 12. And I think that was probably internally debated, and they finally just decided to release it at 12. There were
Yeah,
6
because the
gigabyte.
RTX 2060 6 gig didn't sell all that well.
No.
Everything that I understand.
I remember EVGA, I think, did the KO edition to compete with what AMD was up to at the time. They ended up selling it for $279 and being very aggressive on price because AMD had, I mean, this was back in the era where they were still probably selling 5090s brand new at retail. Or I'm sorry, 590s. Remember
Yeah.
The RX 590, the pre-overclocked 580.
Yeah.
I have an XFX RX 590 Fat Boy around here
It
somewhere.
wasn't just
Oh, the
overclocked.
Fat
It was on a reduced size process too, wasn't it?
Which is probably why they could overclock it. They got more headroom.
Yeah,
With the die
yeah.
shrink.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? And that's funny because that was an 8 gigabyte card all those years ago. The 580 and the Vega 56 were 8 gigabyte cards all those years ago.
Yep. And then the 5700 XT, 8 gigabyte card.
But just to play devil's advocate here, if most mainstream gamers are playing at 1080, they don't need any more than 8, except for a few select games. And NVIDIA would rather have you play at really low settings or using DLSS where it's actually rendering at a much lower resolution anyway, so you don't need as much RAM. That's the whole point. It's like, no, you should be on DLSS version whatever. I'm sure it'll be 4 soon. We're only rendering at 1280 by 720. I mean, you don't need that much VRAM for that.
But, I mean, honestly, if you're going to be running Win 11 24H2, you should probably have more than 8 gigs of VRAM because guess what? Desktop Manager actually sucks down on your GPU.
Hey,
sometimes more than you would expect.
Moving on to another NVIDIA story. Is the new NVIDIA app slowing down your system? Yes, it is. But there's a fix for it.
You can uninstall it.
That's true. And it will fix everything 100%. Or you can disable the fancy photo mode that apparently some people like to use, which was, of course, turned on by default. Usually you'd make fun of a company turning something on by default because they generally are trying to cheat and make things perform better in certain circumstances. But no, NVIDIA, they're blazing a new trail, and their app is actually set to default to make your system about 15% worse or so in gaming.
Ooh.
It's brave. I mean, that's a bold move. So yeah, you could, as Josh suggested, just get rid of it because it's essentially to update your graphics drivers, which, happens anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you be able to AI enhance your photo mode, which, I mean, I'm sure there are people that do that. And supposedly helps you optimize games, although I think they got the exact opposite of what optimization means when they enabled this feature.
One caveat, though, is if you had no game filters enabled, it didn't actually affect your performance.
I see.
Well, no, if you enabled it, even though it wasn't applying, it still affected the performance.
Next up, Funko. Itch.io. Itch.io. It's gone, but it's better. Please explain.
So yes, Funko Pops, the guys with the bubble heads and all of those other things. One person decided to create a fan page on itch.io for, did you know that Funko has a computer game? Funko Fusion is a PC game that you can play. And this person actually really loved it. So they put up a whole bunch of screenshots and links to the original site from Funko of this computer game. On the other hand, you've got Funko, who have hired Brand Shield that have an AI-enhanced piece of brand protection software, which runs out and scours the web for anything that, considers horrific. Well, it found this fan page. And, well, we can argue as much about how a fan page with links back to the actual page and screenshots they probably took themselves is not copyright infringement and worthy of a DMCA cease and desist. It could be.
Can we insert the Daleks screaming exterminate right now? Just want that.
Yes, because when the Daleks got a hold of
that'd be perfect.
They did not want to just cease and desist. They screamed exterminate and sent fraud and phishing reports to Funko, who immediately, and to the host of itch.io, and the person that runs the domain registry. As far as the guy who runs itch.io knows, all he got was a, hey, DMCA problem. So he said, no problem. We're killing that site. We're blocking that user. Here's the email proving it. Lo and behold, a day later, itch.io goes down. The entire site. Boom. Done, because it was a fraud and phishing report and treated as such by both the registrar and the host. The host is like, well, okay, we didn't do anything. Registrar is like, what email? Okay, we sent you an email saying, hey, we've taken down this one okay, well, that sucks, but this is what our report was. Okay, no, you're good. So itch.io comes back. Hey, this is good. Funko, of course, doesn't want to have the entire, open source gaming industry hate them. So they posted to the hell site normally known as Twitter that we're really sorry. We did, realize this is just a fan page now, and we didn't mean to send a takedown notice. To which the community immediately replied, a takedown notice does not kill an entire site. That kills one specific URL. You guys killed the entire thing. Funko, realized, okay, well, not the best of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out directly to the owner of itch.io and apologize. They texted his mom. His mom immediately is now getting in touch with the guy who runs itch.io, Leif Korokan, saying, hi, I got a strange call from a company about accusatory statements on your social media account. Call me. Like, literally every step of this story just gets worse and worse and worse.
And difficult to follow, I might add.
It is convoluted, but yes, it literally Funko shoved both their feet in their bobblehead. This all
started with Funko AI Daleks.
Yes.
No. This all started with Funko has a game. And why and who cares enough to make
and why does one person love it enough to kill itch.io? It is so bizarre, and this is the problem. We don't live in a rational world anymore. AIs can literally just kill a website and then force your mom to take a strange call at some point. This is where we are now.
And now for something completely different.
Yes.
You can have your Pi and NVMe it too. Now, we talked last week about the Raspberry Pi 500, the all-in-one keyboard successor to the 400. And, of course, there was no M.2 slot. You couldn't even add one because it was just a blank space on the PCB.
But it was traced out.
Ah.
That was the thing. That was what had people upset, was there were the traces to put an M.2 port on there. There just wasn't one.
So you could add one.
Wasn't there a controller missing as well, or some?
Well, no, it was the power.
Oh,
you needed to put a bomb on the bottom to be able to direct the 3.3 volt to the slot as well. Or you could just power it separately if you sort of felt like it. So yeah, someone figured out that, hey, this is how we do it. They're still writing up all the instructions because they did originally do it via an external power supply. But there's no reason you couldn't solder those points that you're looking at if you're watching the video podcast right now onto there and be able to get the 3.3 volt delivered directly to that M.2. And one of the things that the person that did this mentioned, this part is ridiculously inexpensive. And just soldering on an M.2 is not that time consuming either. So when Raspberry Pi said, hey, we didn't put in the little trapdoor or the M.2 because it would have added to the cost. The question is, that would not have actually added that much cost, nor in theory that much labor. So we'll see how they respond. But
I have an idea.
The good news is you could just do it.
Just offer two versions. If you're worried about cost, sell one for $90 that doesn't have it, and sell one for a 100 that does have it and let the user decide.
Yes. Well, this was the same argument about why is there not going to be one with more than 8 gig? And they said, no, we're just not going to do that this time. It's like, well, okay, fair, but, and maybe there are some unforeseen consequences. Like, this is the one person who has got this up and running that we know about. So maybe booting from M.2 or running things, it gets out of sync with your ARM CPU, or who knows. There's a lot of funky things that could happen. So they may have just run out of time in their testing and said, you know what, it's still a little buggy. Let's not release it like this.
Speaking of time, Jeremy.
Is it time?
It's hammer time. Do, hammer time. Seagate has launched the world's first generally available HAMR hard drives.
Well,
HAMR storage is finally here.
They've been talking about this for a long time.
And when I was going to publish a little blurb about this, I looked it up and, well, no. Actually, there's been a couple of HAMR drives put out already. They just haven't been generally available. They've been stupidly expensive. And they make it even more bizarre by saying that the Mosaic 3 Plus are the HAMR drives, and then on the page where you're buying it from in the PR, it's a HAMR 3, and there are a mix. Some of them are shingled with enhanced HAMR, and some are not. And it just became very confusing, and I got a little bit upset and stopped reading.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things you just read or were talking about there is that the 32 terabyte model is shingled SMR. So the 30 terabyte model that's about to come out, that's CMR. So depending on, which side do you butter your bread on, or how you like your hard drive encoded, choose wisely.
Oh God, Woot Doc just brought up an old one.
What?
Will there be a HAMR flash video to go with Hitachi's Get Perpendicular? Oh, I haven't thought of that in a long time.
Get Perpendicular. Was that Hitachi? I think it was.
I believe it was.
Get perpendicular. Get perpendicular. Yeah.
They're missing a great ad campaign tagline with this, that these new HAMR drives are too legit to quit.
Oh,
yes.
You got it. That's almost as good as Tighten It Up, Josh.
Yeah, but then they would have to pay a rapper an inordinate amount of money.
I don't know. I feel like MC Hammer
alive?
probably wouldn't be as expensive as he was in his heyday.
I don't know. Parachute pants now might be more expensive than they were back then.
Might be coming back.
Yeah, it's retro now. It's trendy.
Before we move on, Jeremy,
Yes.
you may want to check your picks, because I think there was some strange copying and pasting there.
Aye.
So fix your stuff.
You'll find out exactly what we were talking about in our upcoming segment called Picks of the Week later in this very
I
program.
just pasted Josh's cheeseburger in the middle of
Don't
my
paste
picks.
and plus your first link is my first link.
Hey, you're influential, Josh. When I'm in doubt, I just paste your pick over mine. And then I get embarrassed and I delete it.
No, Josh, it's not.
You paste Josh's Hitachi over yours?
That's the placeholder. It's just the placeholder in the Google Doc. It's not always.
Oh,
the
I see.
Hitachi
Yours is a
one.
T-Plea link, which of course is
the first
considering a ban.
story of Insecurity Corner.
It's a TP link.
Not a trend net.
Gotcha.
Oh, God.
That is a
Okay.
Well, you're giving the store away. Stop
Let's
it.
continue
Anyway,
the
It's
podcast.
foreshadowing for a callback.
We have good news for all the PCPer podcast listeners. You will soon be able to send faxes with Windows 11 24 H2.
Hallelujah.
So
Thank goodness.
this is great.
So when I sign my
KB
letter of intent to an NCAC
Yes.
team to play football
Yeah.
in the fall of 2025,
Mhm.
I can fax it from my computer.
Yeah, thank
Sweet.
goodness.
So yeah,
So
there you go.
are you going to go play for Mr. Belichick in North Carolina, huh?
No.
Here's a
I
nice
think
person.
I've aged out of them. It would be like, one of those pseudo Ivy League Division III teams in New England.
Ah,
Oh, we mentioned this story last week. I'll just briefly show it again on the stream, but we talked about LG discontinuing Blu-ray players last week.
Sadly, but
But
it was
hey,
a
it's only
callback.
LG.
Are they only the standalone players, or are they still doing the drives?
Everyone seems to be
can't
bailing on
imagine
optical.
they would be still doing the internal 5 1/4 drives.
I don't think so.
Why don't you look on Newegg and see what's available?
Yeah, this old stock though. I can't imagine if you look at the date code on those things. They're made before, like probably 2021.
They have not actually made any since 2018, or
Okay.
the design hasn't changed since 2018. And it's new
there's
stock.
no reason because they're already hammering the SATA interface with reads.
That's legit.
Too legit.
Yeah.
It's the time is right to buy yourself some sort of, at least an external Blu-ray drive if you don't have the capability of an internal anymore.
Let me tell you, I've got the capability. You may not believe that. Look, just scroll up to that 5 1/4. How much is that?
$69.99.
Oh, it's shipping from China, though.
Ships from China and it's unbranded.
That's not good.
But just get one of these, like this one. You know, there's an internal drive in that enclosure. I mean, just
Of course.
Yeah.
go down to your local Best Buy or whatever you have nearby, and if there's a large external, there's
Okay, would you please pay attention to Kelt?
what?
He says that they have a huge demand for 5 1/4 inch opticals.
Really? Kel, that is
He may
that's
be
interesting
trolling
considering
us.
I don't think
He may
any
be
of your
trolling us.
current cases support
Yeah.
those drives.
No, there's just one very large person that comes in and keeps demanding 5 1/4 inch.
Maybe he means external, because I
Is it
believe you
Josh?
can order an external drive with your Falcon Northwest PC. You know, the Tiki, even their little PC, used to have a slot load optical drive. Oh, wait, no. Sarcasm. He admits it's sarcasm now. Okay.
Yeah. No, you got to know the person to be able to get the sarcasm or not.
You needed to encase that with the SARC tags.
In
That would've done
case it.
Mhm.
Speaking of cases, Kelt was so nice to send us a case that had been part of like a Maximum PC review way back in the day.
Oh.
And we have the case now, which is a lovely shade of emerald green, and it's some kind of.
And you're going to
what
throw
the
it in the
unique finish
yard,
was.
aren't you?
But it has optical drive bays. I was going to fill it up
Yes.
with Blu-ray drives. I have a stack of optical drives in my storage unit. In fact, multiple stacks.
And a zip drive adapter. Get a zip drive in there tue.
I have
yes.
zip drives.
I know you do. I know
They're
you got an
scuzzy.
adapter for a cat for that too.
My my SiQuest is now equipped with ball bearing drawer slides.
Oh. Gonna have some point and click adventures on that.
Yes.
I think it's time to move on to In Security Corner. And our first story comes from Bleeping Computer. The U.S. is considering banning TP-Link routers over the cybersecurity risks we've been talking about recently. The DOJ, they're interested into some of the issues.
There's a number that makes them interested.
Which is?
TP-Link's market share is about 65% of your random cheap business owner or residential network.
Soho deals.
Yeah.
Small office, home office.
61, 2 and 3 are pretty much TP-Link. And they are wonderfully secure.
Oops.
Very secure. And I'm as sincere as as Kelt was about the 5 1/4 drives. No, there are horrific amounts of hacks for these things, and because they've pumped the network pumped the market so full of this networking gear, we'll just abandon that model. We'll not patch it anymore. Who cares? They can buy a new one. And the chances are they're going to buy one of ours because that's mostly what they see on the shelves. So yeah, the feds have sort of figured that, this might be a bit of a problem, and they're working on, trying to solve it. And they're going to think about it, and they're going to spend a lot of money. And I won't delve into the politics here, but it's going to be a long time before it's decided one way or the other. But in the meantime, friends, don't let your friends buy TP-Link routers.
Heck, they can't get rid of TikTok either permanently in any way.
You realize that I just got one like 3 months ago.
The TP-Link? Yeah, but you bought the really high-end one.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it'll probably be covered for 3 years or so. But don't worry about that hard-coded password. It's fine.
Creating botnets out of Windows. Well, there's an option out there now. Now you can create botnets out of targeted TP-Link routers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can count on many of them being available.
The one thing about the story I didn't understand, it says over 300 U.S. internet service providers. You guys have... I thought you only had Comcast and like the buddy down the street.
No.
Are there really still 300
Even in
ISPs
Laramie,
down there?
Little Laramie, we've got 4 major ISPs.
Okay,
Spectrum,
good.
There's
CenturyLink,
local
Blue Peak,
telcos as well.
and Lariat.org.
Oh, please tell me you didn't go CTL.
Who's CTL?
CenturyLink.
CenturyLink?
There's also
well, it's Lumen now.
There's
Yes,
also
it
Wi-Fi.
is. It's definitely not Rackspace. Wait, no, is it? Yeah. It's...
Satellite providers, Wi-Fi providers.
Next, also from Bleeping Computer, malicious Microsoft VS Code extensions target devs and the crypto community. Oh no, the crypto community.
I love VS Code, actually. It's one of the best things Microsoft's ever
Screw
made.
the crypto community, but yeah, I use VS Code for dev a lot. I love it. So you're hurting here too with me, Brett.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely hurting on this one. Malicious extensions. So there's like 18 malicious extensions here that have blockchain, Ethereum, different ways of forcing your machine to mine. I don't know the names of all the packages yet, but apparently these are some compromised extensions. So I'm actually trying to get the names of them right now so that I can talk.
Well, I mean,
them.
some of them are Zoom, which is kind of a little bit frustrating. The ones labeled Ethereum, fine if you're playing with that.
Yeah, you get
Solidity, that. I don't play with that, but that sucks because that's not mining. That's Solidity. That's a language. But yeah, if you're trying to fiddle with the Zoom workspace, yeah, that one's going to mess you up.
It's a sad day when they have to come at you through your editor.
Yeah, but VS Code is just handy.
It is.
All right, well, the featured security story of the week should probably be something that happened just after last week's podcast, which was news about our favorite Microsoft feature, Recall. You know, they're supposed to be filtering out your sensitive information just to protect you. Mm-hmm. But it turns out that when you're screenshotting constantly everything that's on the display, you're not really going to be filtering out things like your credit card numbers, your social.
Oh, but the AI is supposed to do that. It's supposed to recognize it, record it, and then block it. No, wait. How does it recognize it's a credit card number without recognizing it's a credit card number and then recording it?
Exactly.
My understanding is that some of the testing that was done to prove that this didn't work actually had the person literally typing credit card number : and then typing in their fake credit card number and then trying it with their real credit card number. Yeah, I remembered all of them. And this was like into like some random like notes document or something.
Well, no, not just necessarily a notes document. He did actually throw this up as a web that was like credit card information and literally labeled the proper way. He did try it on 2 random e-tail sites. Both of those blocked it, which suggests maybe you have to register with Microsoft to be able to.
Or they have a list. Maybe
there's they have some sort of list.
There's filtering involved.
Yes. I wish they were checking it twice because they're probably not.
It's not that they're actually filtering on the credit card number, as you imply. They're actually just filtering on making sure not to capture the checkout tunnel payment pages of certain retailers, which is sort of ridiculous. You figure an AI could recognize, you could train it to recognize this kind of information.
Well,
and say,
I mean,
hey,
you've got to help train it, Brett. As a beta tester for Microsoft, you need to be using Recall. That's why it's enabled by default. And then they need to be analyzing all of your data and your usage patterns, and then they can train, and it'll get better over time.
Yeah. Big brain talk. This is big brain talk. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's Brett's credit card. We're not supposed to record that because he knows about us. Yeah, so it also captured social security numbers and a variety of other, things that Microsoft swears it will not capture.
Yeah, personal, private information.
The only thing I will give them on a plus side is that filter sensitive information is toggled on. And unlike some other companies that reduces performance, it should actually, make me more secure. It kind of failed on that. So we'll see.
Finally, in Insecurity Corner, phishers cast a wide net using spoofed Google Calendar invites. This is in the cybercrime department at the Register.
Only 500
You're saying that these people are fishers of men?
Yes, they are indeed.
So only 500 million people are using Google Calendar. So these phishing emails, of course, include the ICS calendar file but what it is instead of like a time, date, place information, they include a link that takes the user who adds them to their calendar to a reCAPTCHA or some other support button to log into some financial or crypto login screen where, of course, the information is being captured because it's being monitored and faked. So I don't know who's falling for this, but I think it just, in my mind, becomes more of a proof of concept to say, okay, what these people are currently doing is a little bit ham-handed and ridiculous, taking people to places where they need to provide their credentials to log in after adding a calendar invite. That just seems like, I think most people are going to be wise to that. Maybe it works for some. But this is clearly a vector that we need to pay more attention to, fake calendar invites. Because they're actually spoofing it from people as if like, it'd be no big deal to accept a calendar invite from, office worker next door kind of thing.
Yeah. And oddly enough, the best way to block this is something I didn't even know about. You're actually allowed in Google Calendar somewhere, I still haven't looked it up, to enable only allow known senders to send you calendar invites. This is not toggled on by default.
I don't know what they mean by known senders only, or only.
No, I have not looked it up. I mean, if you try and get into your Google security settings, it's a labyrinth of just ridiculousness. But somewhere in there apparently is this setting, which should probably be on by default. And
so ends Insecurity Corner, and it's time for Gaming Quick Hits. And the first one is a story about Microsoft Xbox.
And their insecurity.
Project Latitude. More details about the rumored plans to bring Xbox games to rival platforms. If Microsoft likes money, what is the downside to selling your games on other platforms? Believe it or not, people buy PlayStation and Switch as well as Xbox.
Well, Microsoft didn't believe that at first because the Xbox was the king. And to prove that, they would make sure that they had a bunch of exclusive games only on it. And this was a wonderful money-grubbing opportunity until it wasn't. And they're also kind of struggling for their next gen, whereas PlayStation 6 is, selling out ridiculous numbers at $700 for some reason.
I'm sorry, that's the PS5 Pro.
Oh, sorry, PS5 Pro.
Xbox
better than PS5.
Xbox fans with like the people, they have tattoos.
Yeah, the Xbox tattoos.
What, a red ring?
Yeah, they're upset that now their exclusives are available on other consoles.
Look, it's just a PC, okay? It's just a PC as an appliance. And the only reason that Xbox is compelling, this is just a personal opinion, is the Game Pass. So if you can do Game Pass,
Really, I think it's the 4K Blu-ray and streaming functions, along with some gaming.
no, but you could do that on a PS5. If all you cared about was streaming in 4K and having a UHD Blu-ray player.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't
do it on
want
a
to sign my
PS5.
life away to Sony as well. I've already
You don't
signed my
have
life
to.
away to Microsoft.
But you could.
If you're a PC enthusiast, as most of our audience, I imagine, is, you scoff at these consoles. But for normies, for people who just want to play a game in their living room and stream some stuff, Xbox
Okay, wait
is
a minute.
very
Just
compelling.
stop that, because would you say I'm a rather savvy PC user?
But you have
You're
both.
a rather savvy PC user.
If you have a console, Josh,
Because-
it's because you also have a gaming PC.
Well, yeah, but boy, the console really, I mean, like you said, it's a fantastic appliance. My
Super
wife
convenient.
can run it.
Mhm.
It is, I just set it up on Netflix, Prime, Disney, whatever. And it just, she gets the controller out, pushes the buttons, she's streaming. She's happy.
It's an appliance.
Let me tell
It's
you,
no more difficult than a
happiness.
toaster.
That happiness extends
Or,
throughout the house.
All right, next
He's
in gaming
having a
quick hits, Humble Bumble or something. What is this?
That's right. That's right.
This is a Steam sale. When is the next major Steam sale, Brett?
Oh my gosh. Set your clocks. Ask Siri to set your timer to 13 hours and 40 some odd minutes to winter sale at Steamland. Be prepared. Wake up early.
That
Shop.
backlog is looking a little slim these days. It's time
That's
for the
right.
Steam winter sale.
Exactly. When was the last time you bought a game off Steam? Last week? Too far away. You need,
Wait, aren't you buying one right now?
you need to be buying tomorrow.
How many
13
games are in your
hours.
cart right now?
Oh gosh.
Buy them all and
Some.
save. The
Some.
more you buy, the more you save.
There's logic to live by.
Yes.
Oh, wait. No, sorry. That was the Steam sale. I was jumping the gun. This is the Humble Bundle or Humble Bumble, as Brett affectionately refers to it.
Yes.
Well, it's appropriate during Christmas.
Silent Night, Deadly Night game bundle.
It's all about the silent kills, I guess. Stealth action.
Is
I've
Metal
never
Gear
played
on
any of
here?
these.
That's
Never-
tactical espionage action.
I have never played any of these actually.
No, I have
wow.
no idea
But
what any of them are. but
You've
several
never
people
played
suggested it.
Sklash? It gets an 85% positive rating on Steam.
Or Origami? No. They Always Run. I mean, that sounds like a television series. But no. Or Origami 2.
Do you think it's
Is there an
worth?
Origami 1?
Fury
Oh, you
with
get the
an
whole
eye.
series.
Do you think it's worth $12 for these 7 titles you've never heard of before?
Probably.
I mean,
Okay.
probably. Yeah.
All right, it's your
Yeah, that was the point of
$12.
this. It's not a lot of money. If
And it
you
goes to
doing
charity.
some
Well, most of it does.
sneaky slash. Have at it.
Kind of like
You know what?
Thief, says Mirror PC. So kind of
Oh,
like the
yeah.
new Thief. It was
Oh,
kind of
new
like Thief.
Hey, if you want to get the what is it, WRC 24, it'll probably be on sale tomorrow. And
Yeah,
you know what? You can join the PCPer club where we have, well, sometimes weekly events where you can join in and race against people like me.
Yes, contact Josh for more details about that.
Yes.
Let's move to picks of the week. Josh, are you ready to talk some more?
Okay, 10G switches
Ooh, love
are now, looking real good. TrendNet for $220 for a 5-port. That ain't too shabby. Yeah, I
Not
mean 5
bad.
ports, 10 and 100 gigabit back plate, back transfer, whatever. So yeah, it's easy installation. It probably runs a little warm, but gosh,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
have
well.
a need for 10 gigabit Ethernet, that's
Fanless.
finally at a place where it looks really nice.
actually a dumb
surprised
switch or a
it's
smart one?
fanless.
Yeah, it's dumb and fanless. So
Okay,
there you
fine.
go.
Maybe they're finally using
No.
controllers on a better process tech, and they can, or just
shocking.
overheats. Maybe just overheats a lot.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Nagiga lately, so I don't know what they have to offer. But TrendNet it's a well respected name, and 220 is not breaking.
10G. That's hot. Usually hot, very hot.
Hot. Are you getting blocked from the TP link?
I am.
What?
I can't load the.
Oh, that is
computer
brilliant.
Stuff.
What about the end? Can you get the other one?
No, that's the other link.
I
I wonder if it's because I'm not in can. Let's see. Why is this?
Oh my gosh! I just got blocked as well.
.ca maybe.
Oh wait. Did Google do something weird to us here? Because I'm actually being blocked too.
So much for
Google
my theory
is
that the U.S. and
hanging
Canada has
there.
finally gone to war.
This is the best pick.
Still
ever.
a theory. Still a theory.
No, I'm sorry. Whoa. Actually, both sites are Memory Express is back up, but
Yeah, this is down.
Canada
I just
Computers is
Googled
down.
it. I clicked on the link. It's just
Canada
down.
Computers is down.
Okay. Do you have an alternate pick?
The
How
Canada
popular was
Computers
this?
link was a very good deal on something you're not allowed to buy in America. It was a TP Link router. So that was, sort of my little bit of a shot there. Because, hey, we can buy them up here. The featured deal was a PCIe 3 NVMe card for about $8. So you could fit two NVMe drives on it. Yeah, fine. It's only PCIe 3.0, but if you follow us, you probably have so many NVMe drives that are just sitting in a corner somewhere because you bought them when they were a good deal. So, hey, this one little card, boom, you can add two of them. You won't be able to boot from them, but you'll be able to add two of them to your system for about $8. And because for whatever reason,
Jeremy, some of them I didn't even take out of the box. I'm embarrassed to say.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, Jeremy, don't worry. I got Canada Computers up. Here we go.
What
No,
are we
they're
searching
broken.
for?
Let's see.
It's
Dual core Athlon 64. The FX60 is available.
Yep, nice.
They've got
Nice.
some OCZ, PC 3200 memory. Oh, look at the only CL3.
Hey, look at
That's
that.
pretty aggressive
Hey,
timings.
look
there.
at that.
how
Linksys
many of you
wireless
had that
G?
Linksys G router?
I have
we all
at
did.
least one. Yes.
I
still
have
have
one
one
somewhere.
I have the B one and the
look at this.
illegal booster.
If only we could still buy that Z5500 5.1 speaker system from Logitech.
That's what I still
Yeah.
got. That is what I'm running on right now in my main machine, for only $319.
The Canadian though.
Yeah, that was TH.
Yeah, it's even better.
Oh, X1800 XD.
Was that
Yeah.
a 6600 GT?
6600 GT AGP8X, $169.99. That seems steep.
No, man. PCI
Seems-
Express. I want the PCI Express version. Oh, same price.
Oh.
Same
Well,
price.
it's just using. Now, was that when it was using a bridge chip for
Yes.
AGP,
Yes.
but it was PCIe
Yes,
based?
it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
yeah.
was,
Just
yeah.
get the PCIe version.
So yeah,
So, yeah.
apparently the Canadian computer companies are having a bit of an issue right now.
Okay. I went to the Internet Archive though, and that was the 2006 February version.
And
of Canada
honestly, there were
Computers.
better picks there than what I see nowadays.
The pics were
Right.
sweeter from 2006.
They were.
Brett, would you like to save us with
all
a
days.
that we can actually buy today?
Absolutely. Thanks for throwing up the LG getting out of physical media again, because this is sort of the bookend to that.
Okay.
I'm always a proponent of own your content. I think we've talked about that. Sebastian and you've talked about it a bunch as well. We probably have a DVD and a Blu-ray collection that was started years ago, or maybe we've collected a few box sets, that's still widely available. Unfortunately, the companies that are actually making decent playback systems are disappearing. You probably can't. I think Samsung's been out for a while. LG's got themselves out when they sell through their stocks, which they haven't updated since 2018. Sony actually has one from 2019, which does 4K Ultra HD will play back, DVD, 4K up sampling, Wi-Fi, does HDR10, high-res audio, Dolby Digital, DTS, etc., all kind of like the best of the peak Blu-ray for
Yes.
$158.
That is a really good price. That's a $260 list.
Yeah.
And that's 39% off.
So this was essentially the peak Sony UBP X700M 4K. It'll play back the peak Blu-ray 4K Ultra.
What's all this
discs,
peak
as well as
stuff?
everything else.
You realize they have an ES
Because-
series, right?
Well, if this is the consumer, I mean,
Okay, this is the high-end consumer. They do have an ES,
is.
that
But
1000
that's-
series.
that comes with like balance beams that you've got to make sure everything
remember,
is.
the X800 M2 is the one I wanted because I think that had.
But that doesn't play HDs. I don't think. Check it out. See if that one plays 4K HD or the UHD, I should say.
No, it's UHD.
Yeah, native,
Yeah.
not upscaling.
No, it's the X700 is the lower model, I believe, because this one adds like SACD and HD. Not that you would ever need like HD DVD.
Not that you would never, or SACD for really.
Well, I mean,
not very often.
If you're a discerning audiophile, I'm sure there are several, at least hybrid SACDs in your collection.
Perhaps the point here is that if you want one of these devices, now might
Buy
be
it
the
now.
time.
Yes,
Because they're going away soon when stocks sell
no,
through.
they won't go away
Oh,
completely. They'll just
They're
go the
not
way of the
making any more.
Nakamichi tape decks and be $4,000 on eBay someday. So
That is true. I'm actually thinking about I might need to order a belt kit for my Nakamichi.
yeah, you should probably get that up and running again.
an idler roller actually.
Up here in the Great White North, they're doing the 800M2-/CA for $318. That's not bad.
The hot take from the YouTube chat is physical media is great until you move into a new home.
I know. Everybody always complains
It's
about
just
it.
heavy.
To me, it's a point of pride. I have probably
It is.
4 totes full of physical media. I will happily carry those heavy totes with me everywhere I go until I die.
So he
'Cause you
ain't
can
heavy.
just
He's my
stick 'em in your
data.
player and not have any streaming issues. You don't have any of these strange little blocks that show up in the middle of your watching experience, and your audio is just consistent. It's nice, and you don't live by the whims of big guys like Amazon and Netflix. Physical
Imagine-
media is the best.
Banishing the word buffering from your life.
You don't own your
Even-
media until
Even
you
with a
own
really
your
fast
media.
connection, if I'm on a really fast wireless connection or 5G or LTE on the road or at home, there are still very noticeable timing issues with streaming audio sometimes.
True.
And it's like, that's something I never encountered. If you heard timing issues from a CD, it's
Audio
probably a
quality
scratch
is
CD.
garbage on a lot of
unwatchable.
streaming. Yeah, it's
Timing.
I do lossless streaming, and the timing is horrendous sometimes, where you can hear entire like sections that are just gone because as it was streaming in, it just got skipped. And it's just, if you know, you know.
Yeah, and some of the compression sometimes is absolutely horrendous.
Well, you're right. Especially if you're using Bluetooth because
Oh,
you're
the blocks are
psychoacoustically compressing it to get it to MP3 or AAC to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you're psychoacoustically compressing it again to get it through the Bluetooth protocol. So then you get psychoacoustic artifacting, which sounds really bad. It's just terrible. Forget high frequencies. A lot of things sound like they're kind of underwater or going through a strange filter.
I always said it was like you're like singing through a pipe, like you're talking. It's terrible.
All right. Kent.
All right. Well, so, if you've ever gone to a mechanic and they've told you that they wanted $1,300 to change your tie rods, and you realize that you can do it yourself for a lot cheaper, but you need the tools. You're not a professional mechanic. You don't need something that's, you're going to use day in, day out. I've found a great tool maker on Amazon called Jaeger. All these have lifetime warranties. I picked up a 16-piece reversible ratcheting wrench set from 8 millimeters all the way up to 25 millimeters for $87.
Wait, is that
And-
a 10 millimeter that are actually showing on screen? Do those actually exist? Right there. Impact sockets 10 millimeter.
Yeah, but he lost it.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah,
AI
already.
generated.
Yes. All of these have a lifetime warranty. If you break one, you take a picture of it, send the picture to them, and they'll send you a new tool. The quality is actually, once I received them, it's quite good. Project Farm did a review of ratcheting wrenches, and these were, pretty much an equal to the gear wrench, and the gear wrenches are a lot more. And if anybody, if any of you have ever priced a ratcheting wrench that is 25 millimeters,
That's shiny.
That's
if you
pure
go
gold
with-
right there.
if you go with someone like Snap-on or SK Tools or Matco, this wrench alone would be about half the price of that entire 16 wrench kit. So I've not gotten to use them yet, but they seem to be quite good quality. And I thought it was a nice discovery at good prices. So working
And I'm
on your
sorry to tell you-
cars working on your own cars can save you a lot of money, and it's not hard. And there's now plenty of YouTube videos to tell you how to fix things. So,
Gosh, that's about right. Because I had a signaler on my Explorer go out, and I convinced the Ford dealership to replace it for free, the actual physical, because when they had worked on it, one of their guys had kind of broken it, and they had, some documentation, but they were going to charge me $190 to install this thing. Exactly. And so
Yeah.
all it is the turn signal, the switch, and you can do back and forth. It's a 4-direction thing. So I convinced them just to give me the part, and I got home and replaced it in 10 minutes, saving $195.
Yes. Shop labor is now
YouTube.
like $80 to
it's
$120
ridiculous.
an hour.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a garage.
Nice shout out to Project Farm as well for the review and how well it actually scored. I try not to even buy a box of toothpicks unless it's been reviewed by Project Farm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads us to my pick real quick. Also, Project Farm approved. If you don't need wrenches, you just need basic hand tools, basic screwdrivers.
Oh, the good old crappy tire.
Craftsman. Now, these are no longer made in the USA, but the quality of these, watch the Project Farm review about screwdrivers. The Craftsman set for $20, this is actually $20.98 on Amazon, is really good. I have some original American Craftsman screwdrivers that are very similar looking to this. They feel different. The quality is different. The quality of the metal is different, but these will get the job done for $21. Anyway, that's going to do it.
Breaking news, Kent just lost his 10 millimeter. It just disappeared.
Did I?
Would you believe that Harbor Freight actually sells a box of 10 millimeter in
I don't believe it.
sockets? They sell 10 millimeter sockets in like 7 different varieties of how it works.
Put your hand behind it, Kent. It's not going to focus.
The camera
There we
can't
go. There
focus
we go.
on it because it doesn't exist.
It exists.
Nope,
Look.
it's there.
I have
For now.
mine too, but I'm weird about putting all my tools back in the box when I'm done. All right, that's going to do it for the PC Perspective podcast for 2024. The next time you hear from us, we'll probably be gearing up for AI CES.
CES.
Featuring AI.
AI.
And we'll be signing our podcasts as 2024 still because we're
Yeah, of
not
course.
used to it yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because whoever changes
The good news is there will be no Insecurity Corner until next year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Take
So
a break,
nothing-
everyone.
Nothing bad will happen. Oh, no, that's not true.
Hackers take the holiday off.
I mean, even the malware people are supposed to have a change freeze during this period, right?
Look, they attacked Krispy Kreme, and I'm still not over it.
So, yes, Merry Christmas for everybody who celebrates. Happy New Year. Although we'll wish you Happy New Year again.
We will.
On that day. And, until then.
Goodbye.